Greetings again. Well, winter's here, it's well upon us. We've had several days of snow. In fact, the snow is persisting outside, so it's time to do what we have to do, keep the house as warm as possible within budget, and also prepare a nice hearty warming stew. Now, stews are traditionally the best way to go for a lot of people. It allows you to put lots of wholesome ingredients, vegetables, meats, whatever you've got in the pantry, put it in the pot, cook it up, and it's a nutritious, balanced meal for all the family. So today we're working exactly with that. Ooh, there's a bit of bright light in the background. Let's get rid of that. Ooh. I'm working with the ingredients found in the fridge, so we've got some celery first of all, and courgette if I'm not mistaken. Don't like those much, but still. Carrot, of course. Yeah, no one like that. Pepper. The singular shallot. You can tell someone's been ordering HelloFresh, can't you? Not sponsored by HelloFresh, by the way. 2 onions. And some leeks. Yes, that's going in the compost, I think. Discarding any manky parts that frankly, there's a bit of it, I suppose. That one's a bit iffy. Yeah, it never goes to waste if it goes in the compost, because it goes for a healthy garden. I'm going to wash the vegetables, and I'll be right back in a few. Say hello, dear boy, go on. Yeah. No. Handsome kitty. Okay, so first of all, it's dealing with the onions. Now, give them a cursory wash in the sink, just to get any dust off the outer onion, and now I basically top and tail it, and then I cut along the middle part and peel off the skin as gently as possible, taking care to preserve as much onion as possible, checking of course for mouldy bits. I find that generally if you pick up an onion that's not too squidgy, it's generally okay. And of course all the waste that goes straight in the compost. Down. Okay. So I've already peeled the shallot, the singular shallot. It always seems to come whenever the lads they ordered a HelloFresh box, and various items came in the box. Massive box, lots of packing, and a singular shallot. I think it was involved in one of the recipes. Can't be sure. It always seems to be a shallot in the packet, though. I don't know why. Posh onion as far as I'm concerned. So take it, there's an onion. Can we zoom in? Yeah, we can. Right. So give the shakes. You've got to be bold. If you've got the shakes like I have, you just got to be bold and keep pressing on. I will not be hindered by it up to a point, There we go. Got shaky hands, you can't always do things you want to do, like fine soldering, but there are ways. There we go. Quick and easy. I'm not too fussed about that slippery skin on the outside. That's going in the pot. Top and tail the carrot. You can include it if you like. I just prefer not to. Aesthetically. Pepper. Nice bell pepper, this one. Very crisp but bland, as peppers go. I tend to cut around the... you know what? I can probably bring this down. Let's try refocusing. One moment. Let's get that oven mitt out of the way. I'm doing several things at once. So, oh my word, goodness. Stop shaking. Stop it, I say. Object tracking. There we go. So I cut in, turn the blade, just working with the tip of the blade really, as carefully as you can. Hold this thing down on the work surface, do not want it slipping, and I trim around the edge. So now after a bit of that, there you go, that comes out completely, and that can go on the side for later. Then I chop it. Now you can do it in one simple manoeuvre all the way around without stopping. I like to pull out the little bits. The seeds. They're rarely viable, so I don't bother saving them, because a lot of our food, certainly in the UK, gets irradiated depending on where it's coming from. That's that. I'm going to top and tail this as well. Wretched thing. Well, no, I'm not going to just top it. There we go. So first of all, I'm going to slice the wretched thing. It's going in there. There we go. I'm cooking some burgers at the moment, so now they're homemade, of course, so I waited for the fat to run off them. 20% beef is my starting meat, and I use the broth as a starting point for this stew. The broth that came off. Let's pour it straight into the pan. They're still cooking in the oven. Let me just show you the oven. Ooh. There we go. You could grate this thing, but who's got time for that? Oh no. What do you want, Mrs. Cat? No, she's not allowed on the work surface, but here she is all the same. Marvellous. No, you're not sitting on that, Mrs. No. No. Get down. Get down. Ooh. Never work with you. You know. Let's try that one again, shall we? Not a very nice example of that, I don't know. And I'm not entirely sure how long it's been lingering in the fridge either. It's relatively fresh though, it hasn't gone off, it's just, it feels a bit dry. Anyway, in it goes in the pot. Onions. For the record, I could do thicker chunks. I don't mind, but I'm cutting this thin because the family does prefer thinner slices of onion in the soup. So there we go, we're going to have that thinly sliced. I'm also going to start the process by simmering these onions and the veggies to make sure they start to melt down in a bit. Try not to incorporate it into the shot. My fingers. Mrs. Cat. Mrs. Cat, what are you doing? She desperately wants to know. What am I cooking? It's a lovely crisp pepper, this one. If you wanted to follow along, of course, you could use any sort of pepper you like. Even Scotch bonnets, if that's what takes your fancy. It's meant to be an economical stew with anything you've got in the fridge or in your pantry. Now, as for how far it goes, well, that depends on how big a serving you use when you've finally done it. I'm going to have to get the burger buns on the AGA toasting up. It is nicer to have a nice toasted bun. I suggest you don't copy me when it comes to cutting onions. Go look at something like Gordon Ramsay. He knows what he's doing. I've tried, believe me, I've tried. But I'm just no good at it. So we'll just do what I do. Time to make a bit of space. Come on, back you go. Right. I used to share my life with a little cat that used to love the ends of the peppers. He'd come sitting there meowing his heart out whenever he'd see you preparing this sort of meal. Yeah, Tommy, he loved his peppers. I like to grate the carrot. Just incorporates better when you do that. Now this one's for question. If you're within the UK and you say within the remit of the NHS, have you noticed a rise in the number of your local clinics, the privately run for-profit clinics that the NHS employs? Have you noticed that they're starting to send out more and more surveys? Do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you this? Do you that? Do you that? Trying to find out more about their patients. Now, it's not that they're ever going to see you any faster, but I quietly believe that the process is all part of building a database for the private companies that want to sell us insurance. Eventually, when the grubby overseas companies have got their hands on our health service properly, and it's time to sell us the lie that private healthcare is the way forward, you'll find all those databases that you've helped compile. If you answer these surveys, you'll find they're used to sell you a high price plan. Oh, well, you admitted that you like to smoke on this survey way back when. Now it's going to cost you. Well, whatever your truth, I don't encourage responding to those surveys. Let them find out the sorry situation that you're in when you present yourself at the clinic. Hey. Okay, so we've got the hot plate here, and this plate here next to it is the simmering plate. We're not going to worry about the simmering plate right now. The hot plate tends to run, well, it's hotter than the oven. I haven't got a temperature probe to tell you exactly how hot it is, and how hot it is depends on how high you set the AGA in the first place. But on a regular gas cooker, it's about equal to a medium flame. Anything from a medium to a high. I'm going to get some oil, I think. Just a splash. You could also use butter. I like butter in cooking, but the price of butter has gone up quite a lot recently. Now I'm aware that we should pay exactly for the cost of producing the butter. I have no problem with that. I just feel that the supermarkets are marking things up higher and higher and higher. And the poor old farmer who produces the goods in the first place never fully receives the full benefit of that markup. Scalping, basically. At this stage, I'm not interested in putting any seasonings, any salt, any pepper, anything like that. I'm just going to get it warmed up while I look for the salt. Bit of salt. You know how much to taste. That's how much I like to use. I like to use a lot of salt because I can, but not too much. Don't want to overpower the cooking here. If I cook it properly, I'll get those awful courgette slices to boil down a bit. Some passata. You could also use a tin of chopped tomatoes or plum tomatoes that you mash into the mixture. just to add that tomatoey edge to the stew. Again, if you haven't got it, well, you can get by without it. Now, given the energy crisis, a lot of you might be thinking, oh yeah, AGA is quite expensive to run, and it is, but no more so than a regular cooker. Now, the benefit with an AGA is, of course, it is a cooker, a very competent cooker. It can run all day, and because you don't have any warm-up time, it's good to go. There's no, set to gas mark 6 and wait for it to heat up. There's no set to this temperature and wait for it to heat up. No, it's good to go straight away. It's already hot. So for those who like to cook all day and don't want to wait for it to heat up, always need an oven on tap, then it's great. We have two ovens, which is one is a baking roasting oven, and the lower one, which is a simmering oven, allows you to cook things very gently. You've got all the benefits of a crock pot facility, a searing facility, as you have with this boiling plate, a simmering facility for cooking sliced meats, sandwiches, you name it, it's all in one package. You can even boil the kettle. It's doing quite well. I'm going to put the lid on that. We just leave it be, just for a bit. A lot of people think that you might leave these lids up all the time when you're not cooking it. Oh, because it looks nice. Well, yeah, it does, but it lets the heat out, so these always stay firmly down when you're not using one of the hot plates. I like them down. Got a little trivet going on here, which allows me to store my utensils while they're in use. Let's start to zoom in on that, shall we? Let me just turn around so you can see that. Oh, there's fudge. Well, maybe you can see it. Progress. I'm going to use a bit of passata to add a tomato sauce edge to the stew. We haven't got a full carton here, but I've got plenty more, so I might just open up another carton. I'm going to wash this out. Don't want to waste any of that good juice. Now, it was at this point I was going to introduce a nice piece of chorizo in there, sliced up and simmered on the simmering plate. Never mind, someone's got to it for me. Guess I'll have to get some more. Maybe I'll add it tomorrow if there's any of the stew left. Just add some more passata. Oh, and it's stuck fast. Marvellous. You can can see why this was in the reduced section. It's not the easiest of cartons to deal with. And I've lost the scissors. Oh, not to worry. Got a blade here somewhere. Yeah, and you can't rip it. Hopefully she's staying in focus. There we go. I've got kitties under my feet. If I'm lucky, I'll find some beans to put in this, but they're going in later. I'm going to cook the mixture up much more before I get to that point. Let's turn it around again so you can see. Now, simple as it is, seasoned cooks will tell you there's one golden rule when it comes to stew. Always start by simmering the veggies down first. Make sure they're properly starting to cook before you bother to throw it all together with the meats and the beans and things that will bring down the temperature of the vegetables that you're trying to cook. No one likes crunchy vegetables in their stew. Well, not in this household anyway. I'm going to find some Frito next, I believe. There we go, little sofrito. Again, it's all to taste. You might have made your own. It's all part of the stocks and seasoning mixtures that you make up when you have your own kitchen. Just a little bit. Adds a nice coriander, onions, garlic side to the mixture. Put that there. And off we go. Now I think I shall find some yao. Oh, well, yes. Whoop. Cats under my feet. Now I'm going to use a famous brand that people will recognise from the back. From Goya, I believe. Nope, sorry, it's not from Goya. It's another copy brand, but it's Sasson. Badia. Yeah, Badia. Good. It's with coriander and annatto. So, yes, adds a little bit of flavour, helps bring out the flavour. Now, not everyone likes to use it, but we do. So, if you don't like it, suck it. I'm going to use that with a OXO cube. So we've added an OXO cube and some of that. Some from AGA. Brings out the flavour. Stir it in. It's starting to really come together. Now, some people will just leave it on the top where it will leach heat into the room and cost extra money. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take her off the heat there. Lower this. And pop it to one side while I reposition the camera. The Perils are working in a small kitchen. I'm hoping that the oven's set up so I can put the whole sauce. Oh dear. As I suspected, a shelf to move, but that's easy enough. And in she goes. I've not added any extra fluid apart from the sauces, the passata I've already added. I'm just going to let it cook for a while. So, I've not added any extra fluids to the stew at this point. Some people like to, but I've just left it as it was with the passata for fluid and the fluid from the vegetables. They're all in there. I'm just going to let that slowly simmer for about half an hour in the top oven. Then I'm going to take that out and maybe add some more fluid at that point and pop it in the simmering oven to do maybe over the next couple of hours. After that, it'll be ready to serve with some white rice. We have basmati, but it works equally well with the cheaper white rice. It works well with brown rice if you can get hold of that. Yeah, well, that's the stew, and thank you for watching. Happy cooking, and whatever you do, have a good day. Bye for now.